The sun dipped low over Lagos, casting a golden glow through the windows of Naomi's modest two-story home. The living room smelled of jollof rice and fried plantain, a feast Naomi had spent hours preparing for Sunday dinner, a tradition she clung to despite the cracks forming in her marriage. At 34, Naomi was a vision of resilience, her dark skin radiant even under the weight of unspoken worries. Her braided hair was pulled into a neat bun, and her smile, though tired, was warm as she set the table for four. Tariq sprawled on the couch, engrossed in a football game on his phone, his lanky frame a mirror of his father's. Zina sat cross-legged on the floor, coloring a picture of a family holding hands. The crayon-drawn figures had dark skin like theirs, and Zina's careful strokes showed a love for detail. Naomi glanced at her children, her heart swelling. They were her anchor, her reason to keep going even when Victor's late nights and dismissive attitude chipped away at her. "Zina, baby, put the crayons away. Dinner's almost ready," Naomi called, wiping her hands on her apron. Zina looked up, her gap-toothed grin infectious. "Can I show Daddy my picture first? It's us at the beach." Naomi's smile faltered. "Of course, sweetheart. When he gets home." She didn't add that Victor hadn't confirmed if he'd be home tonight. Lately, he was always caught up at work, though his job as a mid-level bank manager didn't seem to demand such hours. The front door creaked open, and Victor strode in, his tailored suit pristine, his dark skin gleaming under the light. At 38, he carried himself with the swagger of a man chasing something bigger than his life allowed. His phone was pressed to his ear, and he barely glanced at Naomi as he dropped his briefcase by the door. "Yes, book the table for two," Victor said into the phone, his voice smooth and commanding. "Somewhere exclusive. You know what I like." He ended the call and finally noticed Naomi, who stood frozen by the dining table. "Dinner's ready," she said softly, her eyes searching his for a flicker of the man she'd married 13 years ago. Victor loosened his tie, his expression distracted. "Smells good, but I've got a meeting tonight. Client dinner. Can't miss it." Naomi's heart sank, but she kept her voice steady. "It's Sunday, Victor. The kids were hoping we'd all eat together." He sighed, running a hand over his close-cropped hair. "Naomi, you know how it is. I'm working for us. For them." He gestured vaguely toward Tariq and Zina, who were now watching the exchange. Tariq's eyes narrowed, but he said nothing, returning to his phone. Zina, however, bounced up, clutching her drawing. "Daddy, look. I made this for you." Victor glanced at the paper, his smile thin. "Nice, princess. Hang it on the fridge, okay? I've gotta change." He headed upstairs, leaving Zina's face crestfallen. Naomi knelt beside her daughter, brushing a braid from her face. "It's beautiful, Zina. Daddy's just busy. He'll love it later." But as Naomi served dinner to the kids, the empty chair at the table felt like a scream. She believed in her family, in the life she'd built with Victor. But the illusion of perfection was fraying, and deep down, she knew something was terribly wrong. The next week was their 13th wedding anniversary, and Naomi had planned a quiet dinner at home. Victor's favorite pepper soup and pounded yam, a bottle of wine, and a playlist of old Afrobeat songs they used to dance to. She'd even splurged on a new dress, a deep blue ankara that hugged her curves. The kids were at a sleepover with their cousins, giving Naomi and Victor a rare night alone. Naomi lit candles, their soft glow dancing across equals across the dining room. She checked her phone, no messages from Victor. She texted him, "Dinner's ready at 7. Love you." No reply. By 8 p.m., the food was cold, and the candles had burned low. Naomi sat alone, her dress feeling like a costume. She called Victor, but it went to voicemail. Finally, at 9:30, he texted, "Sorry, got held up at work. Rain check." Naomi stared at the message, her throat tight. She didn't cry. Not yet. Instead, she cleared the table, packed the food away, and changed into pajamas. But as she tidied Victor's briefcase, left open on the counter, a receipt slipped out. Her hands trembled as she picked it up, a purchase from a high-end boutique for a designer scarf and perfume. Items she'd never seen. The date was 2 days ago, the amount enough to cover their groceries for a month. Naomi's mind raced. Maybe it was a gift for her, something for their anniversary? But the doubt gnawed at her. She slipped the receipt back into the briefcase, her heart heavy with questions she wasn't ready to ask. The next morning, Victor was cheerful, kissing her cheek as he grabbed coffee. "Sorry about last night, babe. Work's crazy. I'll make it up to you." Naomi nodded, forcing a smile. "Sure. Just let me know next time, okay?" "Promise," he said, already checking his phone. As he left, Naomi noticed his new watch, a sleek, silver piece that looked far too expensive for his salary. Her stomach churned, but she pushed the thoughts away. She had to believe in him. For the kids. For herself. Over the next month, Victor's transformation became impossible to ignore. His wardrobe was now a parade of tailored blazers, Italian leather shoes, and a cologne that lingered in the house. He'd always cared about appearances, but this was different. Obsessive, almost desperate. Meanwhile, Naomi was stretching their budget, skipping her own needs to ensure Tarek and Zina had school supplies and clothes. One evening, Naomi sat at the kitchen table, going over bills. The electricity was due, and their savings were dwindling. She looked up as Victor walked in, his new watch catching the light. "Victor, we need to talk about money," she said, keeping her tone calm. "The kids need new uniforms, and the car's acting up. Maybe we can cut back a bit." Victor frowned, loosening his cufflinks. "Cut back? Naomi, I'm out here grinding for this family. You think this," he gestured to his suit, "comes cheap? Image matters in my world." "I know, but we're barely making it," she said, her voice soft but firm. "I'm doing my part. I just need us to be on the same page." He scoffed, grabbing a beer from the fridge. "Your part? Naomi, you're home all day. I'm the one closing deals," shaking hands. "You don't get how it works out there." The words stung, but Naomi held her ground. "I'm not saying you're not working hard. I'm saying we're a team. Or we're supposed to be." Victor's phone buzzed, and he glanced at it, his expression shifting to something guarded. "Look, I'll handle it. Just trust me, okay?" He left the kitchen, already typing a reply. Naomi stared at the bills, her chest tight. Later, while doing laundry, she found another receipt in his pocket, this time for a weekend stay at a luxury spa resort. The dates matched a work trip he'd taken. Her hands shook as she folded the paper, tucking it into her drawer. She wasn't ready to confront him. Not yet. But the truth was closing in. Naomi tried to focus on the kids, pouring her energy into their routines. But the doubts about Victor grew louder, amplified by a Saturday morning that changed everything. She was scrolling through Instagram, sipping tea, when Zina ran in, holding Naomi's phone. "Mummy, look. Daddy's on here," Zina said, her eyes wide. Naomi took the phone, her heart racing. It was a post from a popular Lagos lifestyle account, featuring a video from an exclusive rooftop party at a 5-star resort. The camera panned across glittering guests, landing on Victor, laughing in a crisp white shirt, his arm around a woman. She was stunning, tall, with flawless dark skin, a cascade of sleek braids, and a red dress that screamed money. The caption read, "Spotted, Lagos elite living it up. Who's this power couple? #luxury vibes." Naomi's breath caught. The woman wasn't just any guest. She was Leona, a socialite known for her glamorous posts and rumored connections to wealthy men. Naomi's hands trembled as she rewatched the clip, pausing on Victor's smile, the way his hand rested on Leona's waist. "Mummy, is that Daddy's friend?" Zina asked, her voice small. Naomi forced a smile, closing the app. "Maybe, baby. Just a work thing. Let's make pancakes, yeah." But as Zina skipped to the kitchen, Naomi's world tilted. She opened Leona's profile, scrolling through photos of designer bags, private jets, and, there it was, a subtle post from the same resort, the same night, with a caption, "Chasing sunsets and good company." Face blowing a kiss, the watch on Leona's wrist matched Victor's. Naomi's throat burned with unshed tears. She wanted to scream, to call Victor and demand answers. But the kids were nearby, and she couldn't let them see her break. Instead, she saved the post, her resolve hardening. She'd find the truth, no matter how much it hurt. The following week, Zena's school held an award ceremony. She'd won first place in a poetry contest, and her excitement was contagious. Naomi helped her pick out a yellow dress, braiding her hair with colorful beads. Tarek, usually glued to his phone, even promised to clap the loudest. "Daddy's coming, right?" Zena asked as they drove to the school. Naomi hesitated. Victor had said he'd try to make it, but his try was rarely a guarantee. "He'll do his best, sweetheart. We're all so proud of you." The auditorium was packed with parents and students, the air buzzing with pride. Naomi sat with Tarek, scanning the crowd for Victor. No sign of him. Zena's name was called, and she bounded to the stage, reading her poem about a bird finding its wings. Naomi's eyes welled up, but her smile was genuine. Zena was her light. After the ceremony, Zena clutched her certificate, searching the crowd. "Where's Daddy?" Naomi's heart twisted. She knelt, brushing Zena's cheek. "He got stuck at work, baby. But he's so proud. He told me to give you the biggest hug." The lie tasted bitter, but Zena's smile returned, and that was enough for Sekarang. That night, Victor came home late, smelling of that same cologne. Naomi waited until the kids were asleep, then faced him in the living room. "You missed Zena's ceremony," she said, her voice low but steady. "She was counting on you." Victor sighed, tossing his keys on the counter. "Naomi, I had a meeting. I can't just drop everything. She'll have other ceremonies. She's 8, Victor. She wanted her dad there." Naomi's hands clenched. "Where were you really?" His eyes flashed with irritation. "What's that supposed to mean?" "I was working. You gonna interrogate me now?" Naomi wanted to mention the video, the receipts, the watch. But the words caught in her throat. Instead, she said, "I just want us to be a family again." Victor softened, stepping closer. "We are. I'm trying, okay? Just give me some time." He kissed her forehead, but it felt hollow. As he went upstairs, Naomi sat alone, the weight of her suspicions crushing her. She didn't know how, but she'd protect her kids, and herself. The perfect family was gone, but she'd build something stronger from the ruins. The Lego sky was heavy with clouds, mirroring the storm brewing in Naomi's heart. Her modest home, once a sanctuary of laughter and Sunday dinners, now felt like a hollow shell. Naomi stood in the kitchen, chopping vegetables for dinner, her movements mechanical. At 34, her dark skin still glowed, but her eyes carried the weight of sleepless nights. Her braids were tucked under a scarf, and her apron was stained from hours of cooking to distract herself from the truth. Victor had been distant for months, but tonight, he'd called her to the living room for a talk. Naomi's stomach churned as she sat on the worn couch, her hands clasped tightly. Tarek was in his room, headphones on, while Zena played with dolls nearby, oblivious to the tension. Victor paced, his tailored shirt unbuttoned, his dark skin gleaming with a sheen of sweat. At 38, he looked every bit the ambitious man chasing a life beyond their means. His new watch glinted as he ran a hand over his face. "Naomi, I'm not happy," he said abruptly, his voice low but firm. "I need space. I can't do this anymore." Naomi's breath caught, but she kept her voice steady. "This? You mean us? Our family?" Victor stopped pacing, his eyes avoiding hers. "You don't get it. I'm suffocating here. The house, the bills, the routine, it's not what I want. I need to figure things out." Naomi's heart pounded, but she leaned forward, her voice soft yet piercing. "Victor, we're a team. We've been through worse. Whatever's going on, we can fix it. For Tarek. For Zena." He shook his head, his jaw tight. "It's not about them. It's about me. I'm leaving, Naomi. Tonight." The words hit like a slap. Naomi glanced at Zena, who was now watching, her doll forgotten. "Victor, please," Naomi whispered, her voice breaking. Not like this. Not in front of her. Victor grabbed his jacket from the chair, his expression unreadable. I'll call you. I'll still see the kids. But I can't stay here. He walked out, the door slamming behind him. Naomi sat frozen, her world crumbling. Zena crawled onto her lap, her small voice trembling. Mummy, is Daddy mad at us? Naomi hugged her tightly, forcing a smile. No, baby. Daddy's just confused. We'll be okay. But as she rocked Zena, tears burned her eyes. Victor was gone, and the family she'd fought for was slipping away. 3 days later, Naomi moved through the house like a ghost. Victor hadn't called, and his absence left a void the kids felt deeply. Tarek was quieter, his usual chatter replaced by sullen stares at his phone. Zena kept asking when Daddy would come home, each question a dagger to Naomi's heart. Naomi was cleaning Victor's side of the bedroom, hoping routine would numb the pain. She opened his drawer to organize his things, socks, ties, a few receipts, when her fingers brushed against something plastic. A hotel keycard, sleek and black, with the logo of a luxury resort in Victoria Island. Her pulse quickened. This wasn't from a work trip. The resort was known for its exclusivity, a playground for Lagos elite. Naomi turned the keycard over, her mind racing. Was this tied to the woman in the Instagram video? To Leona? She sat on the bed, the keycard in her hand, her thoughts a tangle of fear and resolve. Tarek appeared at the door, his lanky frame slouched. Mom, you okay? You've been in here forever. Naomi slipped the keycard into her pocket, forcing a smile. Just tidying up. You hungry? Tarek's eyes narrowed, catching her unease. You found something, didn't you? About Dad. Naomi hesitated. Tarek was only 12, but he was sharp, too perceptive for his own good. It's nothing, Tarek. Just grown-up stuff. He crossed his arms, his voice low. He's not coming back, is he? I heard him that night. He doesn't care about us. Naomi stood, pulling him into a hug. Your dad loves you. He's just lost right now. But we're enough, you and me and Zena. Okay. Tarek nodded, but his eyes were hard. As he left, Naomi clutched the keycard, her decision made. She'd go to the resort. She needed answers, no matter how much they hurt. A week later, Naomi's world tilted further. She'd returned from the market, arms full of groceries, to find the front door ajar. Her heart raced as she stepped inside, expecting a burglary. Instead, she found chaos. The living room was littered with designer shopping bags, Gucci, Louis Vuitton, and the air smelled of unfamiliar perfume. Zena sat on the stairs, her eyes wide, while Tarek stood by the couch, fists clenched. What's going on? Naomi asked, dropping the groceries. Before Tarek could answer, Victor appeared from the kitchen, followed by Leona. She was even more striking in person. Tall, her dark skin flawless, her red lipstick bold. Her braided hair cascaded down her back, and her heels clicked on the hardwood floor. She carried herself like she owned the space. Naomi, Victor said, his tone clipped. We need to talk. Naomi's eyes flicked to Leona, then back to Victor. Who is she, and why is she in our house? Leona smirked, crossing her arms. I'm Leona. Victor's friend. And this house? It's temporary for us. Naomi's blood ran cold. Temporary? This is my home. My children's home. Victor stepped forward, his voice firm. I'm moving in with Leona. But we need a place for now. You and the kids can stay in the garage apartment. It's got space. Naomi's jaw dropped. The garage? You're kicking us out of our own house. It's not like that, Victor snapped. I'm still paying the bills. You'll be fine. Leona laughed, a sharp, mocking sound. Oh, sweetheart, let's not make this dramatic. It's just business. Victor's upgrading, and you, well, you'll figure it out. Tarek stepped forward, his voice shaking with rage. "You can't do this. This is our house." Victor's eyes flashed. "Boy, watch your tone. Go pack your things." Naomi pulled Tarek back, her voice low but fierce. "Don't talk to my son like that. We're not going anywhere." Leona rolled her eyes, picking up a shopping bag. "Suit yourself. But this is happening, darling. Victor, handle your ex." The word ex cut deep, but Naomi stood tall, her eyes locked on Victor. "This isn't over, Victor. You don't get to erase us." As Victor and Leona retreated upstairs, Naomi gathered Tarek and Zina, her heart breaking but her resolve steeling. She'd fight for her home, her kids, her dignity. No one would take that from her. The next evening, a storm rolled over Lagos, rain pounding the roof like a drumbeat. Naomi had spent the day moving essentials to the garage apartment, a cramped, musty space with a single bed and a leaky roof. She'd done it for the kids, to keep them safe while she figured out her next move. But the humiliation burned. She was hauling a box of Zina's toys when Victor's car pulled into the driveway. The rain soaked Naomi's clothes, her braids plastered to her face. She expected Victor to help, but he stepped out, shielding Leona under an umbrella. They laughed, carefree, as they hurried to the house. Naomi stood frozen, the box slipping from her hands. Victor glanced at her, his expression blank, then drove past, the car's taillights fading into the rain. The betrayal was visceral, a punch to her core. She sank to her knees, the rain mixing with her tears. Zina ran out, her small frame shivering. "Mummy, come inside. You'll get sick." Naomi wiped her face, pulling Zina close. "I'm okay, baby. Just needed a moment." Tarek appeared, his face a mask of anger. "He's a coward. I hate him." Naomi stood, her voice firm despite the tremble. "Don't say that, Tarek. He's your father. But we don't need him to be strong. We've got each other." As they huddled in the garage, Naomi's tears dried, replaced by a fire she hadn't felt in years. Victor could take her house, but he wouldn't take her spirit. She'd rise, and he'd regret this day. The next morning, the rain had stopped, but the air was thick with humidity. Naomi was unpacking in the garage when a loud honk echoed outside. She stepped out to see a sleek SUV parked crookedly in the driveway. The driver's door swung open, and out stepped Auntie Ronk, Naomi's older sister, a force of nature at 40. Her dark skin shone, her head wrapped in a vibrant gelly, her curves accentuated by a tailored Ankara dress. Ronk's laugh was loud, her presence commanding. "Naomi!" Ronk bellowed, striding over. "What's this nonsense I hear about you living in a garage?" Naomi's eyes welled up as she hugged her sister. "Ronk, you didn't have to come. I'm handling it. Handling it." Ronk's voice boomed. "My baby sister and her kids in a garage while that fool parades his side chick? Oh, hell no." Zina ran out, squealing. "Auntie Ronk." Ronk scooped her up, kissing her cheeks. "My little poet. Where's that brother of yours?" Tarek appeared, and Ronk pulled him into a hug, ignoring his protests. "Now, let's talk business." Inside the garage, Ronk surveyed the space, her nose wrinkled. "This is a disgrace. Victor's lost his damn mind." Naomi sighed, sitting on the bed. "He says he needs space. He's with this woman, Leona. They're in the house now." Ronk's eyes narrowed. "Leona? That Instagram harlot? Oh, Naomi, you're too soft. You should have burned his suits by now." Naomi laughed despite herself. "I can't. The kids. I have to keep it together for them." Ronk sat beside her, her voice softening. "I know, sis. But you're not alone. I'm here, and we're getting you out of this mess. Remember your catering? People still talk about your suya and igusi. You could start again." Naomi shook her head. "I haven't cooked for money in years. And I don't have the capital." Ronk grinned, pulling out her phone. "Capital? We'll find it. You've got talent, Naomi. Victor's out here playing king, But you're the queen. Let's remind him. Naomi looked at her sister, hope flickering for the first time in weeks. Ronk's fire was contagious, and maybe, just maybe, it was time to fight back. She nodded, her voice steady. Okay. Let's do it. As Ronk began typing a plan, Naomi felt a shift. The garage was temporary. Victor's betrayal was temporary. But her strength, that was forever. The garage apartment was cramped, its walls stained with damp patches, but Naomi's spirit was reigniting. The morning sun filtered through a cracked window, casting light on her dark skin as she sat on a creaky chair, sipping tea. At 34, her resilience shone through her tired eyes, her braids neatly tucked under a scarf. Tarek was at school, and Zena was coloring at a small table, humming softly. The pain of Victor's betrayal lingered, but Auntie Ronk's arrival had lit a spark. Ronk burst into the garage, her vibrant Ankara dress a splash of color against the drab space. Her dark skin glowed, her gelly tilted defiantly. She carried a tray of chin-chin, the sweet aroma filling the room. "Naomi, enough moping," Ronk declared, setting the tray down. "We're not letting that fool Victor win. You're a queen, and queens don't live in garages." Naomi managed a small smile. "Ronk, I appreciate you, but I'm barely holding it together. I can't fight him right now." Ronk sat beside her, her voice softening but firm. "Sis, you're not fighting him. You're fighting for you. For Tarek and Zena. Remember your catering days? Your jollof rice had people begging for seconds. You could start again." Naomi shook her head, her hands twisting in her lap. "That was years ago. I don't have the money, the equipment, or the energy. And who'd buy from me now?" Ronk leaned forward, her eyes blazing. "Who? Lagos, that's who. People love a comeback story. You start small. Parties, birthdays. I'll spread the word. You cook, I hustle. Deal." Zena looked up, her gap-toothed grin wide. "Mummy, make your egusi soup. It's the best." Naomi laughed, the sound foreign after weeks of grief. "You think so, baby?" "I know so," Zena said, nodding solemnly. Ronk clapped her hands. "See? Even the princess agrees. Let's make a plan. You cook one dish, I'll get a client. We'll build from there." Naomi hesitated, glancing at the keycard she'd found in Victor's drawer, now hidden in her purse. The resort it came from was a hub for Lagos elite, potential clients. Maybe Ronk was right. Maybe this was her way out. "Okay," Naomi said, her voice steadying. "One dish. Let's try." Ronk hooped, pulling Naomi into a hug. "That's my sister. Victor's about to learn what happens when you mess with a queen." As Ronk began listing contacts, Naomi felt a flicker of hope. The garage was temporary, but her comeback? That would be permanent. 2 weeks later, Naomi stood in a borrowed kitchen, the air thick with the scent of sizzling suya and bubbling stew. Her hands moved with precision, her dark skin glistening with sweat as she plated dishes for her first catering gig, a small engagement party Ronk had secured. The client, a friend of Ronk's, had raved about Naomi's food from years ago. Naomi's nerves were frayed, but her focus was razor-sharp. Ronk burst in, her phone in hand. "Naomi, you're killing it. The guests are losing their minds over your plantain. And guess who's here? Temi Bello, the influencer with 1 million followers." Naomi's eyes widened. "Temi Bello? Ronk, I'm not ready for that kind of spotlight." "Ready or not, she's eating your food," Ronk said, grinning. "I told her your story. Single mom, rising from the ashes. She's obsessed. She's posting about you right now." Naomi wiped her hands on her apron, her heart racing. What if they hate it? What if I mess this up? Ronk grabbed her shoulders. "Listen to me. You're not just cooking. You're telling a story with every bite. Your pain, your love, your strength. It's in this food. They'll feel it." Naomi nodded, steadying herself. She returned to the stove, pouring her heart into each dish. Hours later, as the party wound down, Temi Bello approached, her dark skin radiant under the string lights, her phone still recording. "Naomi, this suya is unreal," Temi said, her voice warm. "I posted a clip, and my followers are begging for your contact. You're about to blow up." Naomi's throat tightened. "Thank you, Temi. It means everything." Temi smiled, lowering her phone. "Girl, you're a star. Keep shining." She hugged Naomi, then posted again, tagging Naomi's new catering page. By midnight, Naomi's phone was buzzing with notifications. Temi's post had gone viral. Thousands of likes, hundreds of comments. "Who is this chef? This food looks like love." Naomi stared at the screen, tears welling. For the first time in months, she felt seen. Ronk slung an arm around her. "Told you, sis. This is just the beginning." Across town, Victor and Leona lounged in Naomi's former home, now a showcase of Leona's opulent taste. The living room was cluttered with designer bags and champagne flutes, but the air was tense. Victor, 38, sat on the couch, his dark skin sallow under the harsh light of his phone screen. His tailored suit was wrinkled, his new watch a reminder of mounting debts. Leona, stunning in a silk robe, her dark skin flawless, scrolled through Instagram, her red nails tapping impatiently. "Victor, your card got declined again," Leona said, her voice sharp. "I tried booking the spa weekend. What's going on?" Victor rubbed his temples. "It's a glitch. I'll call the bank tomorrow." Leona's eyes narrowed. "A glitch? That's the third time this month. You said you had this handled." "I do," Victor snapped, his voice tight. "I'm closing a big deal soon. Just be patient." Leona tossed her phone down, standing. "Patient? I don't do patient, Victor. I left my last man because he couldn't keep up. Don't make me regret choosing you." Victor's jaw clenched, but before he could respond, Leona's phone pinged. She glanced at it, her face twisting. "What the hell is this?" Victor leaned over, seeing Temi Bello's post about Naomi's catering. The comments were glowing, the views climbing. "Naomi's cooking again," he muttered, a mix of surprise and unease in his voice. Leona laughed, but it was brittle. "Your ex is out here playing chef? Pathetic. She's probably serving leftovers to nobodies." Victor didn't respond, his eyes fixed on the screen. Naomi's smile in the video was radiant, a stark contrast to the broken woman he'd left behind. A pang of something, regret, fear, hit him, but he pushed it down. Leona stood, her voice cold. "You better fix this money situation, Victor. I don't stick around for losers." She stormed upstairs, leaving Victor alone, the weight of his choices pressing harder. A month later, Naomi's catering was the talk of Lagos. Her phone buzzed with orders, weddings, corporate events, birthdays. She'd rented a small kitchen space, and Ronk was her unofficial manager, fielding clients with her signature flair. Naomi's dark skin glowed with purpose, her braids now styled in an elegant updo as she worked. One evening, after catering a charity gala, Naomi was packing up when a man approached. Mr. Obesai, 50, was a distinguished businessman, his dark skin framed by a tailored agbada. His presence commanded respect, but his smile was warm. "Mrs. Naomi, your food is extraordinary," he said, his voice deep. "I haven't tasted egusi like that since my mother's kitchen." Naomi blushed, wiping her hands. "Thank you, sir. I'm just doing what I love." Mr. Obesai handed her his card. "I'm an investor. I believe in talent, and you have it. I'd like to fund a restaurant for you. A place to showcase your gift." Naomi's eyes widened. "A restaurant? Sir, I'm grateful, but I'm just a caterer. I don't know if I'm ready for that." Mr. Obesai chuckled. "You're more than ready. I saw how you moved tonight. Grace under pressure. Think about it. My team will reach out." As he left, Ronk appeared, overhearing. "Naomi, did I just hear that right? A restaurant? Girl, you're about to be a mogul." Naomi clutched the card, her heart pounding. Ronk, this is huge. What if I fail? Ronk grinned, squeezing her hand. Fail? You're Naomi. You turn pain into power. Say yes. Naomi nodded, a vision forming. A restaurant named after Xena, a place for her kids to see their mother soar. She'd do it, not just for herself, but for them. 6 months later, Xena's kitchen stood proud in the heart of Lagos, its exterior painted in warm golds and reds, the sign glowing under fairy lights. The grand opening was a spectacle. Crowds spilled onto the street, music pulsed, and the air was rich with the scent of Naomi's signature dishes. Naomi, radiant in a custom Ankara gown, her dark skin shimmering, moved through the crowd, greeting guests. Tarek, now taller, helped serve drinks, while Xena, in a matching gown, handed out menus, her smile infectious. Inside, the restaurant was a blend of modern and traditional. Wooden tables, vibrant art, and a wall dedicated to Naomi's journey, with photos of her cooking with the kids. Ronk worked the room, her laughter booming as she hyped Naomi to influencers and reporters. Temi Bello was there, live streaming. Lagos, you need to be at Xena's kitchen. Naomi's food is love on a plate. And her story? Pure inspiration. Naomi took the mic, her voice steady but emotional. Thank you all for being here. This restaurant is for my children, Tarek and Xena, who taught me to keep going. It's for every woman who's been told she's not enough. We are enough. The crowd erupted, cameras flashing. Tarek hugged her, whispering, I'm proud of you, Mum. Xena clung to her, beaming. Across town, Victor watched Temi's stream on his phone, his face drawn. Leona was out, and the house felt empty. Naomi's success was undeniable, her glow a rebuke to his choices. He shut the phone off, but the image of her triumph lingered, a quiet warning of the price he'd soon pay. The success of Xena's kitchen had transformed Naomi's life, but it cast a shadow over Leona's carefully curated world. In the heart of Lagos, Leona sat in a chic cafe, her dark skin flawless under the soft lighting, her braided hair swept into an elegant updo. At 30, she was a socialite whose Instagram was a shrine to luxury. Designer bags, rooftop parties, and captions dripping with confidence. But today, her red nails tapped restlessly on her phone as she scrolled through posts about Naomi's restaurant. The comments were relentless. Naomi's a queen. Xena's kitchen is a vibe. Leona's jaw tightened, her coffee untouched. Across from her sat her friend Bianca, a fellow influencer with a sharp tongue. Leona, why are you obsessing over this woman? Bianca asked, sipping her latte. She's just a caterer who got lucky. Leona's eyes flashed. Lucky? She's everywhere, Bianca. My followers are tagging me in her posts, saying she's inspiring. Her and that tacky restaurant are stealing my spotlight. Bianca raised an eyebrow. Your spotlight? Girl, you're with Victor, living in a mansion. Naomi's playing in the dirt compared to you. Leona leaned forward, her voice low. It's not just that. Victor's slipping. His cards keep getting declined, and he's distracted. I saw him watching her interview last night. He's still hung up on her. Bianca laughed, but it was cold. Hung up? He left her for you. Men don't go back to women like Naomi. Dowdy, desperate. You're Leona. You win. Leona's smile was tight. I always win. But I need to remind her who's on top. She opened her phone, typing a comment on Temi Bello's latest post about Xena's kitchen. Cute effort, but Lagos deserves better than garage food. #overrated. As she hit send, a thrill ran through her. But deep down, a crack was forming. Naomi's rise wasn't just a threat to her ego, it was a mirror reflecting Leona's own fragility. She stood, tossing her hair. Let's go shopping. I need something to wear when I shut this down. Meanwhile, at Xena's kitchen, Naomi was unaware of Leona's venom. She moved through the bustling restaurant, her dark skin glowing in a vibrant Ankara top, her braids styled in a crown. Tarek bussed tables, while Xena handed out flyers with her gap-toothed grin. Naomi's heart swelled, her kids were her strength, and the restaurant was their legacy. But Leona's shadow was creeping closer, and the clash was inevitable. Victor's world was unraveling. In the house he'd once shared with Naomi, now cluttered with Leona's extravagance, he sat at the dining table, his dark skin sallow under the harsh light. At 38, his tailored suits couldn't hide the strain. Creditors were calling, his bank account was nearly dry, and Leona's demands were relentless. His phone buzzed with another declined transaction alert, and he cursed under his breath. Leona stormed in, her silk robe trailing. "Victor, the boutique just humiliated me. Your card didn't work again. Fix this, or I'm done." Victor's jaw clenched. "I told you, it's temporary. I've got a plan." "A plan?" Leona scoffed. "Your plans are why we're sleeping in your ex's house while she's out here playing celebrity chef. Do something." Victor stood, his voice sharp. "I'm doing everything I can, Leona. You think this is easy? I'm juggling debts, clients, you. Me." Leona's eyes narrowed. "I'm the only reason you're still relevant. Without me, you're just another broke banker. Figure it out, or I walk." She left, slamming the door. Victor sank back into the chair, his mind racing. He'd been dipping into shady deals to keep up with Leona's lifestyle, but it wasn't enough. Then, an idea hit, a desperate one. Naomi's name was still on the house's title. If he could forge her signature for a loan, he'd buy time. He pulled out documents from a drawer, his hands trembling as he practiced her signature. It was risky, but he was drowning. Hours later, he submitted the loan application, his heart pounding. What he didn't know was that a paper trail was forming, one that would soon draw the attention of Detective Cole. Across town, Cole, a wiry man in his 40s with a sharp gaze and dark skin, sat in his cluttered office. A tip about fraudulent loans had landed on his desk, and Naomi's name had surfaced. Cole frowned, recognizing her from a recent news segment about Zena's kitchen. "Something's off," he muttered, opening a file. "Time to dig." Naomi's star was rising, and Lagos couldn't get enough. Zena's kitchen was booked solid, its tables filled with locals and influencers alike. Naomi, radiant at 34, stood in the restaurant's kitchen, her dark skin glowing under the studio lights of a TV crew. Her braids were swept into an elegant bun, her Ankara dress a masterpiece of color. The interview with Lagos Live, a popular talk show, was her biggest platform yet. The host, Amara, a charismatic woman with a warm smile, sat across from Naomi, the camera rolling. "Naomi, your story is inspiring millions," Amara said. "From a garage to Zena's kitchen, how did you do it?" Naomi's voice was steady, but her eyes shimmered with emotion. "It wasn't easy. I was broken, living in a garage with my kids after my husband left. But Tariq and Zena kept me going. They believed in me when I didn't believe in myself." Amara leaned forward. "You're talking about Victor, your ex-husband. He left you for a high-profile socialite, Leona. How did you cope with that betrayal?" Naomi paused, choosing her words. "It hurt. Deeply. But pain can build you or break you. I chose to build. Every dish I cook is for my kids, for every woman who's been told she's not enough. We are enough." The crew was silent, moved by her words. Tariq and Zena watched from the sidelines, Tariq's eyes proud, Zena clutching a drawing of their family. Amara smiled. "You named the restaurant after your daughter. Tell us about Zena." Naomi's face lit up. "Zena's my joy. She's 8, full of light. She'd come home from school and say, 'Mummy, make your soup.' This place is her dream as much as mine." The interview aired that night, going viral within hours. Social media exploded. Naomi is a legend. Zena's kitchen is love. But one viewer wasn't celebrating. Leona, watching from a hotel bar, her dark skin flushed with anger, threw her phone down. "She's not better than me," she hissed, her friends exchanging wary glances. Naomi's authenticity was a threat Leona couldn't ignore. The fallout was swift and brutal. Naomi's interview had not only cemented her as Lagos' darling but also shifted the power dynamics in her favor. Unbeknownst to Victor, Naomi's business acumen, guided by Mr. Obeisai's investment, had led her to quietly acquire the title to their former home through a legal loophole tied to unpaid debts Victor had ignored. The house, now an asset of her company, was no longer his to claim. Victor woke to a knock on the door, his dark skin slick with sweat from a restless night. Leona was still asleep, her designer bags scattered across the bedroom. He opened the door to a stern-faced bailiff, a man in his 50s with a clipped voice, holding a document. "Mr. Victor, this is an eviction notice," the bailiff said, handing him the paper. "This property now belongs to Zena's Kitchen Enterprises. You have 48 hours to vacate." Victor's heart stopped. "What? This is my house. There's been a mistake." The bailiff's expression was unmoved. "No mistake. The title's clear. Contact your lawyer if you dispute it." Victor slammed the door, his hands shaking as he read the notice. Leona appeared, her robe loose, her voice sharp. "What's going on? Who was that?" Victor's voice was hoarse. "Naomi. She owns the house. We're being evicted." Leona's eyes widened, then narrowed. "Naomi? Your pathetic ex? How the hell did she pull this off?" Victor sank onto the couch, the paper crumpling in his hand. "I don't know. She's winning." Leona laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. "Winning? She's a nobody playing dress-up. You're the one who let this happen, Victor. You said you had everything under control." Victor's temper flared. "Don't start, Leona. I'm dealing with enough." "Dealing?" Leona grabbed her phone, scrolling. "You're a liability. I'm not going down with you." She stormed upstairs, already texting her contacts. Across town, Naomi stood in Zena's kitchen, unaware of the chaos unfolding. Ronk burst in, her gelly askew, her dark skin glowing with excitement. "Naomi, you did it. The house is yours. Victor and that witch are out." Naomi's eyes widened. "Already? Ronk, I didn't want it like this. I just wanted security for the kids." Ronk grinned, hugging her. "Sis, this is justice. You took back what's yours. Let them squirm." Naomi nodded, her heart conflicted but resolute. She'd built a new life, and no one, not Victor, not Leona, could take it away. As she hugged Tarek and Zena, the restaurant buzzing around them, she felt a quiet triumph. The eviction was just the beginning. The Lagos skyline glittered under a twilight haze, but inside the house Victor once shared with Naomi, now stripped of its warmth, the atmosphere was cold and fractured. Victor, 38, sat slumped on the couch, his dark skin sallow, his once pristine suit rumpled. The eviction notice lay crumpled on the coffee table, a stark reminder of Naomi's triumph. His phone was silent. No new deals, no lifelines. The weight of his fraud, debts, and Leona's relentless demands pressed down like a vice. Leona stormed into the living room, her dark skin flawless but her expression venomous. At 30, she was a vision in a fitted jumpsuit, her braided hair cascading down her back, but her usual swagger was fraying. She clutched a designer suitcase, her red nails gleaming as she tossed a scarf over her shoulder. "Victor, I'm done," she announced, her voice sharp. "This," she gestured to the room, the eviction notice, "is beneath me." Victor's head snapped up, his eyes bloodshot. "Done? Leona, you can't just walk out. We're in this together." Leona laughed, a harsh, cutting sound. "Together? You're broke, jobless, and now homeless. You lied to me, Victor. You said you were a king, but you're a fraud. I don't stick around for losers." Victor stood, his voice rising. "I gave up everything for you. My family, my home. Naomi's out there winning because I chose you." Leona's eyes narrowed, her lips curling. "Chose me? You begged me to stay, Victor. You thought I'd make you somebody. But look at you, pathetic. Naomi's the one on billboards, while you're begging for scraps. I'm not tying myself to a sinking ship. Victor's hands clenched, but his voice cracked. Leona, please. I'll fix this. I just need time. Time. Leona grabbed her suitcase, her heels clicking as she headed for the door. I'm already late for better options. Enjoy your eviction, darling. She paused, tossing a final jab. Maybe Naomi will take you back. She's good with leftovers. The door slammed, and Victor sank back onto the couch, the silence deafening. He stared at the eviction notice, Leona's perfume lingering like a ghost. His phone buzzed, a news alert about Zena's kitchen topping Lagos restaurant rankings. Naomi's face smiled from the screen, radiant and untouchable. Victor's chest tightened. He'd lost everything, and the woman he'd discarded was soaring. Alone, he buried his face in his hands, the reality of his choices crashing down. 2 days later, Zena's kitchen was a hive of activity, its warm gold and red decor glowing under fairy lights. The lunch rush was in full swing, tables packed with locals, influencers, and food critics. Naomi, 34, moved with grace, her dark skin shimmering in a tailored Ankara dress, her braids styled in an elegant updo. Her smile was genuine, but her eyes carried the weight of her journey. Tarek helped clear plates, his lanky frame quick and efficient, while Zena greeted guests with her gap-toothed grin, handing out menus. Outside, a small crowd had gathered, drawn by rumors of a celebrity sighting. Cameras flashed as a local news crew set up, hoping to catch Naomi for a soundbite. Inside, Ronk worked the room, her vibrant gelly and infectious laugh commanding attention. "Y'all better eat up," she called. "Naomi's jollof is a spiritual experience." Naomi was checking inventory in the kitchen when Tarek burst in, his face tense. "Mom, Dad's here. Outside. He's asking for you." Naomi's heart skipped, but she kept her voice steady. "Okay, baby. Stay with Zena. I'll handle it." She stepped outside, the crowd parting as she approached Victor. He looked like a shadow of himself, his dark skin dull, his suit ill-fitting, his eyes desperate. The cameras swiveled, sensing drama. Victor raised his hands, his voice loud enough for the crowd to hear. "Naomi, please," he said, his tone pleading. "I messed up. I know I hurt you, the kids. I'm sorry. I want to come home. Give me a second chance." The crowd murmured, phones recording. Naomi stood tall, her expression calm but unyielding. She studied Victor, seeing not the man she'd loved but the one who'd abandoned her, who'd forged her name, who'd chosen Leona's glitter over their family. "Say something, Naomi," a reporter called, mic extended. Naomi's voice was soft but carried power. "Victor, you didn't just hurt us. You broke us. You left us in a garage, let your mistress mock us, and thought you could waltz back when your world fell apart. Why are you here?" Victor's eyes darted to the cameras, his voice trembling. "I love you, Naomi. I love Tarek, Zena. I was lost, but I see it now. You're my family. Please, let me make it right." Ronk appeared at Naomi's side, her dark skin glowing, her eyes blazing. "Oh, you've got nerve, Victor. You think you can crawl back after what you did? Boy, bye." The crowd chuckled, but Naomi raised a hand, silencing them. She stepped closer to Victor, her voice low but piercing. "You don't love us. You love what I've built. You see me winning, and you want a piece. But I don't need you anymore. Neither do my kids." Victor's face crumpled, but he pressed on. "Naomi, I'm begging. I've got nothing. Leona's gone, the house is gone. I'll do anything." Naomi's eyes softened, not with forgiveness but with pity. "You made your choice, Victor. Now live with it." She turned, walking back to the restaurant, the crowd erupting in cheers. The cameras caught every moment, Naomi's strength, Victor's defeat. The clip would go viral by nightfall. That evening, Zena's kitchen was electric, the buzz from Victor's public plea fueling conversations. Naomi stood at the restaurant's entrance, greeting guests, her dark skin radiant under the lights. Her Ankara dress flowed, her braids gleaming, but her calm demeanor hid the storm of emotions. Tarek and Zina were inside, helping Ronk manage the crowd, their pride in their mother palpable. A local blogger, Tund, approached Naomi, his phone recording. "Naomi, that scene with Victor was wild. Social media's calling you the queen of clapbacks. Care to comment?" Naomi smiled, her voice measured. "I don't do clapbacks, Tund. I do truth. Victor had his say, and I had mine. Now, I'm focused on my kids and this restaurant." Tund grinned. "Fair, but the internet's living for it. They want a quote. Give us something iconic." Naomi paused, glancing at the restaurant sign, Zina's kitchen, and the crowd inside, laughing, eating, celebrating her. Her eyes sparkled with quiet fire. "All right, Tund. Here's your quote. I feed thousands now. I don't serve leftovers." The crowd overheard, erupting in cheers and laughter. Tund's eyes lit up. "That's gold. You're a legend, Naomi." He posted the clip immediately, and within minutes, #IDon'tServeLeftovers was trending, memes flooding Instagram and Twitter. Inside, Ronk pulled Naomi into a hug, her gelly bobbing. "Sis, you just buried him. That line. Iconic. They'll be quoting you for years." Naomi laughed, but her heart was heavy. "I didn't want to hurt him, Ronk. I just wanted him to see we're not his fallback." Ronk's voice softened. "I know. But you showed the world who you are. Tarek and Zina saw it too. That's what matters." Tarek approached, his face serious. "Mom, was that okay? What you said to Dad?" Naomi knelt, meeting his eyes. "It was honest, baby. Your dad made choices, and I made mine. I chose us, you, Zina, me. We're enough." Tarek nodded, hugging her tightly. Zina ran over, clutching a drawing of Naomi in a crown. "Mummy, you're my hero." Naomi's eyes welled up as she hugged her kids. The restaurant hummed around them, a testament to her strength. Across town, Victor sat in a cheap motel, watching Naomi's clip on his cracked phone. Her words, "I don't serve leftovers," cut deeper than any insult. He'd gambled everything and lost, while Naomi had built an empire from his betrayal. The cameras hadn't just captured her victory, they'd immortalized his defeat. The Lagos air was thick with tension, the city buzzing with the aftermath of Naomi's viral clapback at Zina's kitchen. Inside a dimly lit police station, Victor sat in a stark interrogation room, his dark skin glistening with sweat under the harsh fluorescent lights. At 38, he was a shadow of the confident man he'd once been. His tailored suit now wrinkled, his eyes hollow with desperation. The forged loan documents, bearing Naomi's name, had caught up with him, and Detective Cole was closing in. Detective Cole, a wiry man in his 40s with sharp eyes and dark skin, leaned across the table, his voice calm but unyielding. "Victor, we have the documents. Your signature, Naomi's signature. Except she didn't sign them, did she? That's fraud. Serious time behind bars." Victor's hands trembled as he rubbed his face. I was desperate. I needed the money. Naomi wasn't using the house. I thought—" "You thought you could steal from your ex-wife and get away with it?" Cole cut in, his tone sharp. "You forged her name, took out a loan, and now the bank's coming for you. Not to mention the creditors you've been dodging." Victor's voice cracked. "I didn't mean to hurt anyone. Leona pushed me. She wanted the lifestyle. I was trying to keep up." Cole's eyes narrowed. "Blaming your mistress? That's low, even for you. We've got evidence, bank records, timestamps, even your handwriting samples. You're done, Victor." Victor slumped, his head in his hands. "What happens now?" Cole stood, his expression grim. "You're under arrest. Fraud, forgery, maybe more once we dig deeper. You'll have your day in court, but I wouldn't hold my breath for mercy." As officers cuffed Victor, his mind flashed to Naomi, her radiant smile in that viral interview, her words echoing, "I don't serve leftovers." He'd gambled everything and lost, and now the law was his judge. The clang of the cell door felt final, a cold reminder of the price he'd pay. Across town, Naomi stood in Zena's kitchen, unaware of Victor's arrest. The restaurant was a beacon of warmth, its gold and red decor glowing under soft lights. Naomi, 34, moved with grace, her dark skin shimmering in a tailored Ankara gown, her braids styled elegantly. Tarek helped bus tables, while Zena handed out menus, her gap-toothed grin infectious. Auntie Ronk burst in, her vibrant gelly bobbing, her dark skin glowing with excitement. "Naomi, you won't believe this. They just arrested Victor. Fraud charges, something about forging your name on a loan." Naomi's eyes widened, her heart racing. "Arrested? Ronk, are you sure?" "Girl, it's all over the news," Ronk said, pulling out her phone. She played a clip of a reporter outside the station. Victor, ex-husband of restaurateur Naomi, was arrested today on charges of fraud and forgery. Naomi sank into a chair, her hands trembling. "I didn't want this," she whispered. "I just wanted to protect the kids." Ronk sat beside her, her voice soft but firm. "Sis, this isn't on you. He did this to himself. You built a kingdom, he built a prison." Tarek overheard, his lanky frame tense. "Mom, is Dad going to jail?" Naomi pulled him close, her voice steady. "I don't know, baby. But whatever happens, we're okay. You, Zena, me, we're enough." Zena ran over, clutching a drawing. "Mummy, don't be sad. We've got Zena's kitchen." Naomi smiled, hugging her kids. Victor's fall was his own making, but her rise was hers. The restaurant hummed around her, a testament to her strength. 2 months later, Lagos was alight with celebration. The city's annual entrepreneurship awards were held in a grand ballroom, its chandeliers sparkling, tables draped in gold. Naomi stood backstage, her dark skin radiant in a flowing emerald gown, her braids adorned with gold beads. At 34, she was a vision of resilience, her journey from a garage to Zena's kitchen now legendary. Tarek and Zena sat in the front row, dressed sharply. Tarek in a tailored suit, Zena in a sparkling dress. Ronk was beside them, her Ankara dress vibrant, her laughter booming. The room buzzed with anticipation as the host, a charismatic woman named Chioma, took the stage. "Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we honor a woman who turned pain into power," Chioma said, her voice resonant. "Naomi, founder of Zena's Kitchen, is our Entrepreneur of the Year." The crowd erupted, cameras flashing as Naomi stepped forward, her smile radiant but humble. She took the mic, her voice steady, though emotion shimmered in her eyes. "Thank you," she began, her gaze sweeping the room. "This award isn't just for me. It's for my children, Tarek and Zena, who gave me strength when I had none. It's for every woman who's been told she's not enough. This pain built me, and it can build you too." The audience stood, applause thundering. Tarek's eyes shone with pride, while Zena clapped wildly, her drawing of Naomi in a crown tucked into her purse. Ronk wiped a tear, whispering, "That's my sister." Backstage, a reporter approached Naomi, mic ready. "Naomi, your ex-husband's trial starts soon. Any comment on his arrest?" Naomi's expression softened, but her voice was firm. "I wish Victor peace, but my focus is here. My kids, my restaurant, my community. The past is done. I'm building the future." The reporter nodded, impressed. "You're an inspiration. What's next for Zena's Kitchen?" Naomi smiled, her eyes sparkling. "More love, more food, more dreams. We're just getting started." The clip of her speech went viral, trending with hashtags like #NaomiInspires and #PainBuiltMe. Lagos crowned her a queen, and the world was watching. As she hugged Tarek and Zena on stage, the spotlight bathed them in gold, a family forged in fire, now shining brighter than ever. 6 months later, Victor sat in a cramped jail cell, the gray walls closing in. His dark skin was dull, his once sharp features gaunt. At 38, he was a man stripped bare, his suits replaced by a faded uniform, his swagger crushed by the weight of his crimes. The trial had been swift, guilty on fraud and forgery charges, sentenced to 5 years. Leona was long gone, his creditors circling, his name a cautionary tale. He clutched a small TV in the common room, the screen flickering with a news segment. The anchor's voice was crisp. Naomi, the powerhouse behind Zena's Kitchen, has just opened her second location, with plans for a national chain. Her story of resilience continues to inspire millions. The camera cut to Naomi, radiant in a crimson gown, cutting a ribbon outside the new restaurant. Tarek and Zena stood beside her, beaming, their dark skin glowing under the sun. Ronk was there, her gelly high, hyping the crowd. The scene was vibrant. Music, laughter, a line of customers stretching down the street. Victor's chest tightened, his eyes locked on Naomi. She was everything he'd underestimated. Strong, loved, unstoppable. Her words from that viral moment echoed in his mind. I feed thousands now. I don't serve leftovers. Each syllable was a blade, cutting deeper than the cell bars. A fellow inmate, a burly man named Depo, glanced at the screen. That your ex, yeah? She's killing it. You messed up, man. Victor's voice was hoarse. You don't know the half of it. Depo chuckled, leaning back. World's watching her shine, and you're in here eating slop. That's karma, brother. Victor didn't respond, his gaze fixed on the TV. Naomi's smile was a rebuke, her success a mirror to his failure. The segment ended with a shot of her hugging Tarek and Zena, the crowd cheering. The screen faded to black, but the image burned in Victor's mind, a woman who'd risen from his betrayal, now a beacon of hope, while he sat in shadows, paying the ultimate price. Back at Zena's Kitchen, Naomi stood in the new location, her dark skin aglow under fairy lights. The restaurant was packed, the air rich with the scent of jollof rice and suya. She looked at Tarek and Zena, her heart full. We did this, she said, her voice soft. Zena grinned, holding her drawing. For us, mummy. Tarek nodded, his eyes serious. For you. Ronk slung an arm around Naomi, her laugh booming. Sis, you're a movement. Victor's in a cage, but you're flying free. Naomi smiled, her eyes on the horizon. We're not just free. We're home. As the crowd toasted to her, Naomi felt a quiet peace. The pain had built her, and the future was hers to shape. The cameras rolled, capturing a queen in her kingdom, while Victor's world shrank to a cell, his regrets the only company he'd keep.